600 years ago, was a Hindu country. And it was the last Hindu king was Parameshwar Maharaj. And somehow, an Arab trader arranged a marriage for him with a beautiful Arab princess. But they said in order to marry her, you have to convert your religion to Islam, which is a Muslim. And he fell in love with the Arab princess, or whatever was attracted to her. So obviously he wasn't too much fixed in his principles as the Hindu. He converted. But then when he converted, the whole country had to convert. Because he was the emperor or ruler or whatever. That's how Malaysia became Muslim. Because one guy wanted to marry another, not too much. But their language has an interesting, it's a mix of Indian and Asian, other East Asian languages. But the word for day is Hari. So when they say Merry Christmas, they say Hari Christmas. Christmas Day, Hari Christmas. And their most holy day of Eid, Fitri Eid, is called Hari Rai. So it said the ruler has to greet 100,000 people as part of his ruler duties. And he has to tell each one, Salamat Hari Rai. He's chanting Hari 100,000 times. Salamat Hari Rai, Salamat Hari Rai, whatever. Do shake hands or something like that. He's saying Salamat Hari Rai, Salamat Hari Rai. So he's 100,000 times, must get a little bit purified. And everyone, all the people, everything when they say good day, they'll say Salamat Hari something, they'll say Hari. The sun is called the eye of Hari. They never change their language, thank Krishna. Everybody's saying Hari, Hari, Hari. They're very nice people, and pretty mellow kind of people relative amongst the culture. I was just thinking of how fortunate the guy is, that the emperor or the king is, that he's chanting Hari 100,000 times. And all the people throughout the country, all day long, they sing Salamat Hari Rai. Hello, Salamat Hari Rai! Salamat Hari Christmas. Salamat is like salam, greetings, Hare Krishna. So, any excuse to say Hari Hari. Skanda Purana says that we chant the 2 syllables. Ha, ha, Ri, ha, Ri, Hari, Hari, Hari. So that Hari steals away from you. Now you're all getting stolen from. He steals away all your misfortune, suffering, sinful reactions. Is that all right? Hari, 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 Hari. That's one thing, of course, in the Islam, traditional Islamic country, this type of activity is not at all allowed. Public display of anything like that. That's one of the advantages to go around in the Middle East and you don't see these kind of things. Maybe in the hotels or some other side of things. Going on in the secret places, but not in public things. So, what would be the Krishna conscious standing in the Krishna conscious world? We have moral police, like we do in the Middle East. Ram Śrīmad does anything publicly immoral. Anyway, you don't want any word for that. It's taking shelter of the holy name. Actually, somehow on the rebound, somehow at the end of it all, if he took shelter of the holy name, he got saved. The young lady who was chanting the name of Rama, she also got saved. Because she was chanting so much the name of Rama. Lightning hit her house one day, house burned down, she and the parent got killed by the lightning or the fire. And also was another yuga, so it seems that the Yamadutas didn't know about this situation. If you chant the holy names, you're protected. So they came to take her because she was also acting like a prostitute. She was having different lovers. And wasn't married with him. So she was being taken. The Vishnudutas came though because she was chanting the holy names. She wasn't sitting in the strength of chanting. She wasn't doing it thinking that by chanting I'll get free. And she just was doing it unconsciously. She wasn't committing any aparad, conscious sinning on the strength of chanting or anything. Ignorance is a benefit in that case for her. So then the Vishnuduta saw this Yamaduta is already there, tying her up with the ropes and everything, and said, I mean, these people, they're really fired up. I mean, they're really, why do they have to be so enthusiastic to arrest people that shouldn't be arrested? Don't they know she was chanting the holy names? Everybody else better to arrest. They came in a huge crowd, they were there to arrest her. And Vishnuduta showed up and they said, who are you? They hadn't seen them before. There are too many sinners chant the name of God at the time of death, so we don't see too many Vishnudutas. And said, we're Vishnudutas, and we come to take this lady with us and the parrot with us back to God. And they said, no, she's a sinner. She's been doing illicit sex. She belongs to us. We got a special hell all ready for her to get toasted. And so but the Vishnuduta said, no, you can't take her. So we're going to take her. You can't stop us. The Vishnudutas cut their ropes. The Yamadutas got really angry that they didn't really know who the Vishnudutas were, it seems. They said, no, we're going to take her. And when the Vishnudutas stopped them, they thought they were going to attack the Vishnudutas. So it describes about this huge fight in Padma Purana. Of course, the quote about Hari is in Prabhupada's books. I got it on the book. But he's quoting this kind of Prabhupada quotes the Purana. Nectar of devotion somewhere, this story is referred to. A lady prostitute who was delivered by chanting the name of Rama. So, this Yamadutas, they threw hot coals, burning fiery coals from hell. They threw on the Vishnudutas so that would scare them away. So it says the Vishnudutas lifted up their clubs, which created a kind of a force field. And that's what we call it from all the Star Wars movies. Whatever they are, Star Trek or something. But it said they this held up the club, and all of those burning coals were reflected back on the Yamadutas, and they got burned. So that didn't work. Then they started to throw weapons. Then they just held their club up. It was like, don't need a shield, even the club could work as a shield for them. And it reflected all the weapons. So then they took their personal swords in hand, and tridents, and all the things they had, and they went to attack the Vishnudutas hand-to-hand combat. And the Vishnudutas said, these people are really crazy. Why are they attacking us? So then they called Sudarshan the Chakras. They also have chakras. I don't know, younger brothers of Sudarshan. I don't know so much about it. Vishnuduta's chakras, but they seem to work the same way. And they, through their chakras, they start cutting the weapons and some of the arms off. So that discouraged them. So then the leader of the Yamadutas, who was known as the Crusher, challenged the leader of the Vishnudutas, who was known as Sankalpa, or the Determined. So Sankalpa told the Yamaduta to come on, do what you want to do. The Yamaduta took his club with all his force. He smashed it into the chest of the Vishnuduta. And just like. And the Vishnuduta took his club and just tapped the Yamaduta with a light tap. And the Yamaduta he was like hit so hard by a little tap of a spiritual entity. It said that blood started coming out from his pores, from his ears, nose, mouth. He was just there, he collapsed. He didn't die. So that finished the discussion. And the Yamadutas took back their leader, the Crusher, and they went back with the wounds and everything. And the Vishnudutas took back the two to the spiritual world. So Yamadutas asked Yamaraj, who are these Vishnudutas? We had this fight, look at we're wounded, and we shouldn't be fighting with Vishnudutas. But we know that you are the supreme in this universe, you judge everyone. And we are, your messengers. So who is there we have to listen to? So no, I am not supreme. I am a servant of Vishnu. Vishnu is supreme, and those are his messengers. I am here acting on the power and on behalf of Vishnu to judge people for their karma. But those people who are under the protection of Vishnu, who chant the name of Hari, Vishnu, Govinda, Madhusudana, mentioned Shiva also. There's a whole long list of names. All Vishnu names. Because Shiva is also the moon. And then he said, those people you should bring to me. He gave like 4 categories of people you should. The people who never lie, who don't follow all the regular principles, who are very honest and strict and charitable. Those who are working to uplift other people spiritually, who are sacrificing their life for the spiritual development. He had those people doing devotional service and serving the Supreme Lord. So basically the pious and the spiritual people should be brought to him, and those who chant the holy names. So those who chant the holy name directly under the Vishnu will decide whether they're free. So we should avoid breaking any kind of regular principle. We should take shelter of Krishna, because we don't want to do anything that doesn't please Krishna. We want to please him, do something against his order. So this Brahmana, he was not so fixed in devotional service, he was doing it as his family tradition, and he succumbed to his lusty desires. So we're reading about Arjuna and the class here today. We should learn a lot of things to learn from Arjuna's history. Any question? Yes.
I was just curious that we find the death story of Ram, that widow lady. And then we find that, for myself, I was just curious whether it's just to take the episode in a place for our teaching, that or the Jamadutas in different time are recruited new guys that are not familiar, or I mean.
Well, there's a creation every day of Brahma, every change of Manvantara. I don't know the exact lifespan of Yamadutas, but obviously every day of Brahma there's a whole new turnover for sure. Whether they turn over at the end of Manvantaras, 14 times per day of Brahma or not, where there's also some destruction. I don't know all those details. But for sure, every day of Brahma there's a whole new batch, because everything starts from. So there's 365 days a year, 100 years. You got a lot of days you can take these pastimes from. So this could be happening from different days of Brahma.
One more question is, on the 10th canto that Sukadeva Goswami narrated, anybody with faith.
When he speaks in the microphone that's broadcast, I have to repeat this question. Okay. If he speaks in the microphone, then I don't have to repeat.
In 10th canto, he explains that with Shraddha, if somebody hears the sporting pastimes of this divine couple in Vrindavan, then all the lust, which is the heart disease, immediately disappear. And then we find the other side, that when somebody has a lusty desire, he goes in internet, but actually we see that his lusty desire only increase, which is, I mean, it apparently is contradicting. We've seen the spiritual affair of Radha Krishna, which is diminishing our lusty desire.
Because they're transcendental.
Right.
That's with faith. With the faith that they're not material. That's why if somebody hears those pastimes and they're agitated, which a neophyte may be agitated, then that means they don't have sufficient faith yet to hear those. They don't realize that they're not material. Realize hearing with the faith would indicate that you know that these are not material. Krishna is not having the same situation that some ordinary couple in the material world is having. There's actually spiritual, loving emotions which are being exchanged. If you have the faith and you hear like that, then you get purified. You come to another higher level. But because, in general, the newer, the devotees are not so, especially the younger devotees, they may not be that able to differentiate. That's why even Lord Chaitanya would not publicly discuss very confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna in a public way. Only in the only with 4 or 5.5 devotees, with 5 very confidential devotees, we discussed very confidential pastimes. It wasn't a public discussion for everybody, because just in general wasn't considered to be the right topic for public discussion.
My question is that we find in Srila Bhakti-Siddhanta Sutta a story that when he wanted to pay a visit back to his school friend, he went to his house and upstairs he paid Dandavat to all the Vaishnava, and then he heard them talking about the Ras Leela. And then he was leaving, so his friend asked him, why you are leaving? You came, we are discussing about Ras Leela. He said, my Guru Maharaj said I'm not qualified, so I was just walking with his disciple. So my point is, like, at what level, but Bhakti-Siddhanta Thakur is completely aloof from the lusty desire. But then, what platform of Shraddha that I should aspire, that which is not really Ras Leela, but then I'm just a little confused about that.
We heard from Srila Prabhupada is that when we can hear those pastimes, that we're not agitated materially. We can actually see them in a spiritual way. That would be a symptom. If we start getting agitated, start thinking about material things which are similar to them, then we should not, we should wait. Okay, last question.
He says in the translation that the dormant desires in the heart, dormant, that means for how long are dormant? We always have them. The spirit soul has those dormant things always there, and they can wake up at any time in the life and take us down.
Well, everyone, which desires we have dormant in our heart may vary from one person to the next. depending on our previous life's activities. In the previous life, he had also this kind of desires that were not fulfilled. That's why they're called dormant. Everyone may not have the same dormant desires. Everyone doesn't have the same karmas. There may be these kinds of desires in our heart that we're just suppressing. So modern psychologists sometimes don't suppress the things, but for our spiritual advancement we need to suppress. But better is to purify our heart. That's why we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, which burns away also these dormant desires. Burns away our dormant karmas, our corrupt karmas and other karmas that are there in our heart. So by devotional service we want to burn away all the past karmas. But just by sheer suppression, maybe they're dormant, they haven't awakened. And when they awakened in the heart of this Ajamil, he wanted to suppress them, he wasn't able to. He didn't have the same shelter from Krishna. He was just doing his brahminical duties as a matter of duty, without directly doing it as a matter of devotional service. So we don't know. We may have so many crazy dormant desires. That's why we need to take so much shelter in Krishna, because we don't know what dormant desire will be awakened when. That's why we need to take shelter in Krishna and to get purified. Whatever desires come into mind, we have to be very expert to reject them. Krishna, maybe from some previous karma, maybe just a test, some crazy idea came in my mind, but I don't want these things. I simply want to serve you. Please give me a shelter. I don't want this. Have any of you ever had a crazy idea come in your mind that you found it very distasteful? And this happens, I don't know. For me, it happens. Sometimes, especially if you're living in the material world, seeing something. Prabhupada said one time you drive down the street, you see there's some big, advertisement, or some handsome guy holding a beautiful girl, and they're advertising, rules or something, whatever. What does that have to do with, but you get attracted, you may get to the lady, may think, oh, it's my favorite movie star. And then your mind puts your image in the place of the woman, or maybe that's the favorite movie star lady of the man, and his mind puts his image, like now he's holding the lady. So the mind can do all these things, but maybe it's just like a spontaneous, automatic reaction. So the body, we have to reject these things. We have to say, I don't want Krishna, help me, Hare Krishna. We have to reject any kind of thought that comes in the mind that's not according to our principles, it's not according to what we want to do. And it goes on so many times in a day, in a week, whatever. It depends on each individual. How many times we have to deal with crazy thoughts. For some people, they go on every 10 seconds. But the point is that we have to deal with it. But however, that's what we have to chant. At least the less we chant Hare Krishna, the less we do devotional service, the more difficult to control the mind. The more easy the mind is susceptible to all these other kinds of influences. That's why we need to take so much shelter of Krishna and Hallelujah. Thank you very much. Bhagavan Shri Radhe.
Ahayat Brahmano Vidur Ratrin Yuga Sasram Tinta Evo Vata Vido Janaha. The human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together, is the duration of Brahma's one day. And such also is the duration of his days. Avyakta Vyaktaya Sarvaha Pralavantyaharagame Ratragame Paliyante Chandrai Navyakto Vangyake. When Brahma's days manifest, this multitude of living entities comes into being. At the arrival of Brahma's night, they are all annihilated. Report by Srila Prabhupada. The less intelligent jivas try to remain within this material world and are accordingly elevated and degraded to the various planetary systems. During the daytime of Brahma, they exhibit their activities. At the coming of Brahma's night, they are annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities, and at night, those bodies perish. The jivas, individual souls, remain compact in the body of Vishnu, and again are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. When Brahma's life is finally finished, they are all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. Finally, when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, the jivas are captivated by the material world. However, those intelligent beings who take to Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
In devotional service, transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna. And become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. Text 19. Bhutagama Sahivaya Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate Ratragame Vasa Bharta Prabhavatya Ligame Agame. Again and again, the day comes and this host of beings is active. And again the night falls of Bharta and they are helplessly dissolved. Arastasmat bhavonyo Vyakto Vyaktat Sanatana Yasa Sarveshu Bhuteshu Asyatsu Na Vinakshati. Translation of text 20 by Srila Prabhupada. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and it is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Report by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material energy. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Yakto Shara Ityutas Tamahu Paramavati Yam Prabhyana Nivartante Tama Paramam Mama. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible. It is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Hari Om Tat Sat. Bhāgavatam. Next. Chapter 8, 18 to 21. With some purpose. We should know. One of these days in Brahma, one Mahayuga of Satya Chaitanya Kali is 4,320,000 years. And so 1,000 of these would be 4,320,000,000. Double that, 8,640,000,000. So in that 8 billion years, Lord Krishna comes once. In the 27th Yuga, out of the 1,000 first. Kind of in the beginning. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Afterwards, Krishna. Not every time. He just came 519 years ago. Give this universe his mercy. What does he do when he comes? When Krishna comes, Krishna gives blessing, gives his shelter to those who surrender to him. He gives his love to those who fully surrender, take shelter. Lord Chaitanya is considered more merciful in that his form is Krishna. Because he gives out love of Godhead freely, without discriminating that you're qualified and you're not qualified, and you're qualified and you're not qualified. No such discrimination. Everybody can get the mercy. Who here wants the mercy? That's the qualification. You should want to. Some people, even without wanting it, they got it. Especially Lord Nityananda, he does that sometimes. Jagai Madai, they didn't want the mercy, he still was giving them. Finally, after committing the aparadha of Nityananda, then Lord Chaitanya came and was about to annihilate the two of them. Then they wanted the mercy. Somehow, something changed her heart. So we are so fortunate to be so close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. be able to take part in spreading his Sankirtan movement. Kali Kali Dharma Nama Sankirtan Krishna Kripa Mine Nahi Dharma Varta. So the Prabhupada said that this movement of Lord Chaitanya is still going on. So it wasn't over 500 years ago, as he predicted. Prativityache Jatanagaraniga Sarvatra Prachayata Hoibe Morna. In every town and village throughout the whole world, his message would be spread. So there's a kind of an extension of his pastime, because until this prediction is fully met, it's not over yet. So Prabhupada was explaining that we are in an extension of his pastime, extended pastime. By directly serving Lord Chaitanya, we can get this special mercy. That's why it's so special. We have which one was it? Rama Vaivarta Puran, excuse me. Rama Vaivarta Puran predicted that after 5,000 years, Lord Chaitanya's movement would go around the world by one great representative of Krishna. He would spread the glories of the holy name around the world. And in this way, the whole world will become Eka Varna. We're going to do Varnashram, but the prediction is Varnashram will take a new shape. One Varna. Hari Bhakta. The Varna will be devotee of Krishna. So the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra, Hari Bhakta. Eka Varna. So the Vedas are predicting. Give some hope for us. We become Hari Bhakta. So that Rama Vaivarta Puran said, you know this pastime, right? When all the holy rivers went to see Krishna and Dwarka, they were crying because they were afraid of losing Krishna's association, and people were becoming more materialistic, so they felt that Krishna's influence was diminishing, which meant that just like when the sun is setting, Krishna's sun of his presence is setting, he's about to go. They wanted him to take them with him, that they would be subjected to Kali Yuga, while these sinful people would be bathing in their waters. They would get dumped with all the sins. So there's two reasons. To be with Lord Chaitanya, with Lord Krishna, rather, and to not get over-contaminated by sins. It's interesting because Lord Krishna didn't mention I'm coming back anyway in 4,500 years. I'll be bathing in your holy waters. That would be too obvious a point. To reveal his secret mission to come back as a devotee. He was glorifying that the devotees, when you see a devotee, you get purified. Just by coming here and seeing all of you, I am purified. You're all such nice devotees. Every God even lose character, we get purified. See, you beautiful ladies of the Tagore Chandra
Haribo.
Shanti Mataji's service for Shanti. Shanti. So, Lord Chaitanya was, Lord Krishna rather, was mortified while seeing a devotee get purified. So what to speak of touching a devotee? When you touch a devotee, it's more powerful. So then he said the whole world will become Krishna conscious and so many your devotees will come and bathe in your waters. If you get purified so many times over from your sins, away from it. For 10,000 years, will be a golden age where the whole world is a Hari Bhakti. It's an interesting point we were discussing today with the teaching of Krishna Dharma. They want to have a strategy to make the Bhakti and Bhakti Yoga. It's Hari Bhakti. Bhakta is Bhakti. Bhakti becomes the predominant religion of the world. And that takes over for 10,000 years. Everybody is fixed in Bhakti. Kali was never known to give up without a fight. It's not like, okay, it's your turn, come and take over. The only time he left when he was thrown or pushed like Parikshit Maharaj, he had to arrest him. And there was places where he was staying. The problem is now these places are almost everywhere. Even in states which don't legally allow gambling. They make so much money. I was reading in the newspaper that how many 50 billion or something, 20 billion, dollars are spent every year by the American public on lotteries. Because a certain percentage of that is said to go for education, so that it has this law that it's okay because it's great for education. And then the article said that actually the legislators say that it's going to improve education. What they do is very discreetly, they just replace the normal budget of education with the income from the lottery and use the money for something else.
Yeah.
Which is maybe opening new slaughterhouses. So like somehow, Kali more and more is getting entrenched. So most of the people that do the lottery are the poor people, rich people don't bother. So more money is spent on the lottery than they spend on the vegetables in some places. The children are suffering. So many other kinds of things. Innocent. It slips under the door. It makes so much tax on it. So anyway, Kali is going forward, but Kali is like the darkness. Krishna is like the light. We can bring the light of Krishna into the minds of people, and suddenly everything changes. People have a paradigm shift. They have a whole reorientation. Have you ever met somebody that suddenly had a change of heart after coming in contact with somebody? You. What happened to you?
I just saw the devotees in Detroit, my whole family was entrenched in gambling.
Your family was entrenched in gambling. You gave it up. So who's that? Satya, what's his name? Hare Krishna. He tells his story how he was an army veteran on the beach, and probably all heard that 1,000 times. So anyway, my boss, I used to go to the Miami Beach in Kirtan, totally under the influence of some liquid beverages or something. Sometimes they would let him in when he wasn't too bad, sometimes they wouldn't leave him with his tambourine. Listen to the kirtan, but then somehow just by hearing the kirtan by chanting, now he's such a nice devotee. Somehow we can expose people to Krishna's vibration. I was very impressed that I saw on the internet told me that they're getting 50,000 unique visits a day on Krishna.com. And many youth are working there and we teach Krishna.com. Very inspiring. Of course, 50,000 is nothing compared to the 800 or 900 million who are on the internet every day. But it's a start. We're at the top 102,000 sites. Getting the top 100,000 is big time, almost. Somehow, by whatever means, whether it's all the means combined, festivals, Rath-yatras, Upanihatis, or Purnimas, internet, book distribution, somehow, more and more we need to get people influenced by Lord Chaitanya's mercy. It's like Ali is he's overdue. It's like your time's up. Take a break. But that's of course, Alachua has had so many devotees here. And sometimes some of the devotees are very active. Some people, it's like a retirement place you go to. Alachua. Florida's famous for the retirement. I don't think it's too early for the people. I don't see anybody in their 80s here. Nobody's retirement age. Everybody should somehow be thinking how to spread Lord Chaitanya's mercy. Whether it's serving on the internet shifts or whether it's some other type of preaching to the neighbors and other people. We were doing a report of the 2004-05 congregational preaching results for the year. Some of the highlights probably show it at the new Panihati. But it was just one of the things we're trying to get everybody to report how much preaching they're doing, what the results they have are. Then we downloaded from the internet, like some other religious group, how they report what they do. They have it calculated how many hours of door-to-door preaching it takes to make one convert or one baptism, country by country. And every devotee turns in their monthly, how many hours they went out preaching. That's all put into a worldwide database. And they see that also the reports come in how many baptisms happened, who people, they do not baptize adults. So they figured out, like for Iceland, it was 27,000 hours of preaching for one baptism. And Nepal, India were about 2,000 hours. It was near the easiest place in the world they preach. They make 2,000, they give 2,000 hours of preaching to get one baptism. I mean, I don't think if a devotee put in 2,000 hours preaching, how many other devotees would he make? I think more than one. Of course, in India, 2,000 hours is not one. So what they're showing though, in spite of, we can have, but they're making about 4% growth a year. Because they're just slugging it out.
Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.